In this video, we'll be discussing about basic Java interview questions that an interviewer will ask to the candidate. So I will not only explain you about the answers, but also I will try to give a general life use cases for each of the expense. So I will be covering almost 30 plus interview questions, and it's a beginner level videos. So on my coming videos, I will be going to from beginner, intermediate to advanced level interview questions. So this video is mainly for the persons who is giving interviews or trying to switch his or her job, and he or she is having like 1 to 3 years of experience. So let's get started. So in this Deep Developer YouTube channels, I make videos on Java, Spring Boot, microservices, API development. So please subscribe to the channel, and if you want me to make videos in any of the particular topic, you can share those on the comment section. So let's get started. So first questions that they generally ask like what are the main features of the Java? Well, as we know that Java is an object-oriented, platform-independent, simple, secure, and robust, multi-threaded, and portable. So you can just tell these key points, and if the interviewer want to know more about that, then you will try to explain. Otherwise, just go straight to that answers. The next question is that what is JVM, JRE, and JDK? So we as an beginner level, so mostly confused with those terms. So let me explain you to that. So JVM is a Java virtual machine. So as we that terminology instance tell that it's a machine, means it's a virtual machines which we can't see. On that machines the Java bytecode is running. So how this Java bytecode is getting generated means when you would do Java C, then hello world dot Java means Java C, then any of the class name, then one dot class file is generated. So that is called the bytecode class. So how this bytecode is generated? So JDK compiles to that to bytecode. So how what is that JDK means? So whenever we are running any program to our machine, so we first download some libraries. So when you search the JDK for Windows, then some libraries are getting installed. So that will contain GRE as well as the some of the other tools. So what this GRE again means? So GRE means it contains library and JVM. So if we see this GRE means Java runtime environment, and JDK means Java development environment, Java development kit. So if we see overall, so it's like outer layer is JDK, then inside this middle layer there is one GRE, and inside this GRE this is JVM. So if we download this JDK, then all this other two is got installed automatically. So you can explain like this way, and you can try to give them one example. Then they will may ask like why is Java platform independent? So because the Java code that is compiled into bytecode via JDK, so that is not did not require any that can run in any of the virtual machine. But this virtual machine is corresponding to whatever it is Linux or Windows. So they may differentiate. So like JDK also will be differentiate different for the Linux and any other machine. So this is the most commonly asked questions like what is the difference between equals and dot equals. So dot equals method and equals operator. That is it is must every interviewer will be asking these questions if you are beginner as well as the if you are like experienced person. So double equals means it compare the memory reference. I will explain you what that means, and equals means it compares the value. So if we do write that, for example, a string s1 and we have passed some Java value, and then string s2 we have passed again other two value. So if you go to this next statement, s1 dot equals s2 means it will compare the content of the variable. So s1 and s2 content is Java and both are same, so that's why it will return the true. And double equals it will compare the memory reference. So for example, s1 is stored in some address, for example 101, and s2 is stored in some address, for example 201. So it will compare their reference. So those two reference are not same. So that's why S1 WQ2 returning true. Anyhow, their content is same, but this new keyword is addressing to the different memory location. So that's why it's giving the false. Then they will ask like what is the difference between primitive and wrapper classes. So primitive, we are using like int, char, boolean, so double. Those are like primitive data type. And wrapper classes is that so every primitive data type they are they are having on wrapper class. We can say is one of the utility classes. So utility classes means there is some operation we can do on the primitive data type. So for example, int we have integer, char we have character. So for example, here int a equal to 5. So here this int variable we can convert to is an integer. How we can convert? We can convert to this utility method dot values of, and here to string dot to string. Those are like utility methods. So these are the like for in integer there is a one class, to string method is there, and dot values of method is there. Then it is the most commonly asked questions for the beginner. So what are constructor? So you can explain like uh, in this constructor we can uh, generally use to initialized any of the object. So it is similar like functions, but it won't be having any return type. So how it is similar like functions? So if you see the student, we have some variable, then we have like student one constructor, and we are initializing with name equal to n, and here we are taking as an argument. So functions also will take sometimes arguments, sometimes not, and it is returning some things. But here, here it is not returning. Then if we see this here, new we are creating an object, and we are passing this div variable. So now this is like initializing this object. So this no new object is being created. So S is the object name. Next, what is the difference between overloading and overriding? So that is also one of the most asked questions for both the beginner level or the advanced level candidate. So overloading means like a methods which is having like a different argument, and like type of argument will be also different, and but the name of the method is same. So if we see here int add is there, so int a int b and returning a plus b. Same again one method is there add, it is double a and b, so it is returning the a and b. So both this method definition is same, but the argument wise it is different. So this is called the overloading. So if we call this method, like if we call add, then 1.0 comma 2.0, so it is a double, so it will call this double method, this second method. And overriding means, so a class, I will explain this in the later slides. So overriding means if a class having one method and its subclass is extending that method or the extending that parent class, then the parent class object or the child class object will be called depending upon the which variable it is being created. I will come to this in the next slides. So what is inheritance? So inheritance means one class acquire the properties of the another class. So here class animal is there. So here we have one a method defined called it, and dog is extending this animal class, and here it is having one separate method called bark. So along with this dog, dog have this already bark class, sorry bark method, as well as the dog will having this it method. How? Because here we are extending this animal. Like, what is polymorphism? The an object will have more than one to behavior. So here one method behaves differently depending upon the any context. So what does it means? Like we as a student, um, or we as a student. So we are like a student of any of the you can say like organization. Then we also like we can also act as an like son, we can also act as an brother. So these are like we have different behaviors depending upon the situation. So here animal is now acting as a cat, so animal a equal to new cat. So what is abstractions means? So it is means a class which is hiding its implementation but only showing its the behavior. So here the shape is in class, and here we have created one abstract functions called draw, and here we are writing the implementation. So if someone is calling this draw, then it will get the result. It don't know how the implementation is being done. So what is encapsulation means? So binding the variables and the method resulting the direct access, restricting the direct access means variable and methods, binding the variables and methods. So here the private balance is on variables. So it no one will can access this variable, but we are binding it with get balance, and so that if someone want to get this balance, they can directly like use get balance functions call, and they will get this balance. What is the difference between abstract class and the interface? So abstract class can have abstract and the concrete methods, and the interface only this abstract till this Java 7, but now after this Java 8, now they have like default and the static method also. In my coming videos also I will go in depth about this abstract class and the interface definitions as well. So please, if you are still watching the video, I request you please subscribe to the channel, and please provide any feedback in the comment sections. Now, what is the access modifier? So there are four access modifier: public, protected, default, and private. So public access modifier means if a variable is defined with a public keyword, then it can be accessed anywhere within the class, within the package, outside of the package, and on the subclass as well. And the protected variables will be accessed within the class and within the same package and outside by the subclass. Default within the class and within the packages, and private it will be accessed within the class only. What is the difference between finally, and finalized? This is also one of the most like asked questions. Don't get confused. Like final is a variable. We can initialize a variable with a final keyword so that no one can change its value. So mainly for the constant like our PAN number. So we can, for those kind of cases, we can use final as an sorry, variable as in final. So finally, so when we are working with exception handling, so in the catch block we are uh, we are writing the exception in the try block. We are writing the code which may gives us exception, but there is a one finally block is there, so which will be every time it will execute. So on this block we generally do kind of tasks which is every time it's required to execute, like closing a file or closing a database connection. So those kind of things was yeah, those kind of things we can do. And finalized is a method that belongs to garbage collections. It used to like destroy all the objects once its operation is being done. So this is also one of the asked questions, like string buffer, string builder difference. So string is immutable, and string buffer and string builder, those are both are immutable, sorry, mutable. But string buffer is the thread safe, and builder is the it is faster as compared to the other. So I'll come to this more details in my coming videos about immutability concept and thread concept, multi-threading. So I'll be discussed in the later videos. So what are the static variables and method? So if we initialize any variable with a static, means it is shared across the object. Means for example here counter, we have mentioned one variable count equal to 0, and every time if we create a counter object count 1, counter like c1, c2, c3, if you use like three objects, and in c1 we have incremented with counter 1, c2, c3, so both are will access this count, and this will gives the same result at the end. So it is shared by all the objects. So what is the use of this keyword? So this keyword will refer to the current object. So for example, here string name, so this dot name, so here this keyword is, so somewhere we have written like student s1 equal to new student, like that. So s1 is value is something, then s2 value will be some other things, so like that. So what is checked and unchecked exceptions? So checked exception are like must be handled So those are exception like input output exception, find not found exception. So those are like checked exception which must be handled by the developer, and unchecked exception like runtime exception, which will be like kind of business exceptions. So those are also we need to be write the proper logic to handle it. What is garbage collections? So in this Java, the garbage collection is done automatically by the JVM. So here we are using finalize as I shown you earlier. Like it is to like destroy whatever the object is destroyed. They are used to clean these things. What are threads? Threads are like a lightweight process for multi-threading. So I will come to this on my later videos. But as of now, you can, if you want to explain as a beginners, you can say these threads are like lightweight process for multi-threading, and we can start a thread using dot start method, and its core operation we can run in run method. And to get creation of the thread, we can extend this thread class. What is synchronization means like only one thread will access the object at a time. So if we want to initialize any variable or method we synchronize that, if we create one, two or more thread, like only one thread will access and it will wait for the until its operation completed, then next thread will get the access. So what is the difference between array and array list? So array is a fixed size. We need to define the size while defining the array. So here is an of size 3, and array list is a list where like it dynamically create the size of the array. Here no need to assign the values. What is the difference between hash map and hash table? So hash map is non-synchronized and it allows null as an as an key and null as an values as well. And hash table it is synchronized. It is not allowing null as an key. What is the difference between iterator and list iterator? So iterator class is used to iterate over any kind of collection. It may be list, map, set, but list iterator is used to iterate over the list collection only. So difference between throws and throws. So throw is used to throw an exception, and so if you see this throw new IO exception, it is throwing, and throws is used to declare the exception in the method. So if you see throws IO exception, it is defining this whenever we are defining any method where we will be throwing the exception, then this throws keyword is used. Then compile time, runtime polymorphism. So compile time polymorphism is occurs during the method overloading, and the runtime polymorphism is occur during the method overriding. So what are the packages? Packages are the collection of related classes. So to define a package, we can use package keyword, then your package name, and above any of the like classes. So this demo will belongs to this my package class. So if someone wants to get access to this demo, they can do import my package dot demo. Then it will get the access. So why this public static void main string? So why this is required? So this is an entry point in any of the applications. So as we know, public is an access modifier and static is it is for if we write this, then no need to create an object. Void is a return type, main is a class name, and here if any string of arrays with the arguments, that means if any command line, if we are writing any of the command, then that will put in this string variable. Then what is the heap and stack memory? So heap memory is used to store the object, any whatever the object we are creating, and the stack is used to store the method calls and the local variable. So if one method is calling other method is calling other, so those are put in the stack, and one by one it is popped out and do the execution. So processes versus a thread. So processes is independent and it has like own memory, and threads is part of the processes and it has like shared memory. It is memory is accessed or the shared throughout the applications. So it's we have came to this end of this video. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me on the comment section, and in the coming videos I'll be covering some of the advanced level interview questions as well. So please subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching the video.